How's it going, everybody? Today we'll be talking about why and how most artists actually eventually quit music. The main thing a lot of artists overlook and forget about is that pursuing being an artist isn't any different to pursuing any other dream, whether that's, being somebody, like athletic, like a basketball player, or creating a company or whatever. Just because it's in like the creative industries, it doesn't mean that the same principles in order to get that goal don't apply. And one of the biggest points in always getting what you want is always humbling yourself and being a student of the game that you want to achieve. Now, what that means is that you have to kind of crush your ego when it comes to achieving what you want to achieve. If you come into something thinking that you are the best whilst you have like zero monthly listeners, sure, you may have really good music, and of course, you always should have confidence, but you also should always try to get better at the thing that you're pursuing. And if you're just saying, I'm the best and whatever, without actually, humbling yourself and looking up towards certain people that are doing better than you, then you're actually not going to make any progress. If you don't see any progress in front of you and you think you've already reached your goal while having zero monthly listeners, that's not really the ideal place to be. So don't overlook the kind of mentorship side of things when it comes to music. All artists have this thing, and all successful artists have this thing in common, that when they were starting out, they humbled themselves and they were a student of somebody else that was better than them in music. And you can look this up by yourself. Pretty much all artists like Jay-Z, Drake, The Weeknd, all of these artists had mentors above them that were already more successful. And if you don't have some artist that is like your friend or whatever that is bigger than you, that you don't look up towards, and you think you are like, the pinnacle of what you can achieve, that is definitely not the place you want to be, because you are simply just holding yourself back. So apart from making music, don't neglect the mentorship and mindset kind of thing when it comes to being an artist. Apart from making music, you should also be learning about the music business, learning about how to get better. Like, this isn't something extraordinary. This is something that every successful artist, every successful athlete did in order to become what they have become. Literally every single successful person in, each medium like this. And there's a lot of small artists that neglect this side of things. They don't want to learn about the music business apart from making music. They don't want to look up towards somebody bigger than them. They just think they're the best and their ego is just inflated. And sure, you can do whatever you want to do, but I mean, you're just holding yourself back from the actual goal you want to achieve. A good example for this would be, for example, Kanye. Everybody knows that Kanye is, the cockiest, most confident kind of artist that will always, speak whatever is on his mind. But when he was actually quite young, and you can, check this out in his documentary, etc., he was a very different kind of Kanye. Fair enough, he can be whatever, like the most confident he can be right now, because, he pretty much is like one of the biggest, hip hop artists ever, and he cemented himself, fairly in history. And a lot of people that look up to Kanye may think, oh no, you know what? I have, 100 monthly listeners, and I'm gonna be just like Kanye. I'm gonna go into a studio session. I'm gonna tell the producer that no, you are doing everything wrong. I'm the best. Look, Kanye can do this now because he has earned his flowers. But for you, you haven't done really shit. And young Kanye shows a good blueprint of what you as an aspiring artist should do also. When he was younger, he studied the people like Pharrell and stuff like that that were better than him. Like, he didn't just come in the game and he was absolutely the best. He got very good because he was obsessed and he kept studying the people that are better than him. And of course, you shouldn't always listen to every single thing somebody, says to you, even if they're in a better position than you, but you should always listen to it with a sense of detachment. Like, okay, you can tell me this, I can apply it to myself if I think it will do a good job for me. And the most important point, he had a ruthless student mentality. He was a kind of student of the game. Again, he studied the artists that were better than him. He was obsessed with making music and getting as good as he possibly can and making the best songs possible. He was humble and he had that student ruthless mentality. if you can get to a point where you can kind of crush your ego, you can be confident whilst being humble, listening to other people that are in the position that you'd want to be in, you're setting yourself up to be in a very good position in the future, because this is what like 99% of the people cannot do. If you can just crush your ego, humble yourself whilst being confident and having that student mentality in listening to mentors and people that are in the position that you'd like to be in, you're setting yourself up for a very good position in the future. If you want to join SoundMind, this is our kind of music business community where you can actually learn all of this kind of stuff about the music business, making more money in music, just being a better artist. If you want to join that kind of community full of, artists that are actively trying to get better, people working in the music industry that are actively trying to get better with a big community full of people like this. If you want to join, check out SoundMind in the description down below and you can join. And if you want to get your music promoted on Spotify, Apple Music, stuff like that, check out Moshpit Media. It will be linked down in the description down below and you can use it if you want to. So yeah, that's been it for this video. Thank you.